The quote is, "If someone slaps you on one cheek, turn to them the other also." These are obviously the famous words of Jesus Christ. And on the surface, man, it sounds deeply peaceful, doesn't it? It feels like the ultimate expression of virtue, patience, and just calming grace.
But here is the central mystery we're tackling today. Why did one prominent philosopher look at that exact phrase and see something genuinely dangerous hidden right inside it?
Welcome. Today we're jumping straight into a fascinating and honestly kind of uncomfortable journey. Have you ever caught yourself wondering if the nice things people do are actually motivated by pure, unadulterated goodness? Or is there, a totally different operating system running in the background?
Okay, let's dive right into this. If someone slaps you on one cheek, turn to them the other also.
Why did one prominent philosopher look at that exact phrase and see something genuinely dangerous hidden right inside it? It gives you a bit of instant cognitive dissonance, right? Well, that philosopher was the highly influential 19th century thinker Friedrich Nietzsche. He literally looked at this ultimate symbol of peace and saw a profound, hidden danger lurking within those exact words. To get why he made such a wild claim, we really have to understand how he viewed human nature in the first place.
The will to power, our baseline operating system.
So, Nietzsche considered this to be our fundamental operating system as humans. And we absolutely need to grasp this to understand his whole critique. He believed that behind every single person is this foundational force. He called it the will to power. It's essentially the drive in all of us to grow, expand, overcome, and just become stronger. So instead of viewing the soul as this passive, peaceful, floaty thing, Nietzsche saw it as a highly active, living force. A force that desperately wants to express itself through creativity, ambition, and self-overcoming.
Now I want you to try something. Just imagine, for a second, a moment where someone deeply hurts or insults you. Really put yourself in that headspace. According to Nietzsche, there are really only two truly honest responses to that hurt. Response 1, you fight back. Well, assuming you actually have the strength and power to do so. Or response 2, you simply walk away entirely, without resentment, because you're strong enough to just not let it get to you. To Nietzsche, these are the only genuine, honest reactions that come from a healthy, functioning will to power.
Next up, the psychology of ressentiment, when weakness masquerades as virtue.
So what happens when we don't do either of those things? What if we literally don't have the strength to fight back or the inner peace to walk away? Well, here's the twist. Because turning the other cheek often isn't an honest response at all. Instead, it masks something incredibly dark. Nietzsche used this specific French term, ressentiment. It's basically the psychology of hidden bitterness. It kicks in when a person is just too weak to retaliate directly against someone who wronged them. And because they lack the power to fight back, they resort to morally condemning the stronger person instead. They actually begin to label strength, ambition, and power itself as evil, while brilliantly spinning their own involuntary helplessness as a chosen virtue. It's wild.
And this perfectly illustrates how a totally new, secret form of ego is born. On one side, you have the ego of strength. That's someone plainly stating, I am stronger than you. Very direct. But on the other side, born right out of that ressentiment, is the ego of moral superiority. This ego says, look how morally superior I am compared to you. It's this insidious, hidden ego built entirely around moral condemnation, rather than actual capability or genuine selfless goodness.
All right, moving into the performance of compassion, the weaponization of morality.
Let's look at how this dark psychology bleeds into the everyday behaviors we traditionally view as purely good. It's fascinating how seemingly beautiful traits get twisted into tools for social dominance. First, step 1, compassion itself becomes a performance. It's just a way to show off how good you are to everyone else. Then, step 2, forgiveness becomes a weapon. It's something you give, not to heal a relationship, but to hold over someone's head to prove you're above them. And finally, step 3, humility becomes disguised pride. By acting incredibly humble, you're secretly demanding praise and validation for just how amazingly humble you are.
Now, hold on, we need a crucial nuance here, because this is exactly where Nietzsche becomes super controversial. Looking at this completely impartially, it is absolutely vital to clarify that Nietzsche did not hate Jesus. He isn't attacking the historical figure of Jesus Christ himself. We're strictly looking at this through the structural mechanics of his philosophy.
In fact, Nietzsche actually admired Jesus as an individual. He viewed him as deeply authentic, completely fearless, and entirely beyond hatred. Jesus lived his truth. But, and it's a big but, Nietzsche firmly believed that the followers of Jesus fundamentally misunderstood the core message.
Instead of using compassion as a difficult, genuine path toward inner freedom, like Jesus did, Nietzsche thought everyday people turned it into a way to glorify their own moral image at the expense of others. They weaponized it. They used their supposed goodness to point fingers and basically say, "See how kind I am, and see how cruel you are?" Goodness literally became a tool to dominate the strong using societal guilt.
Which brings us to the final piece, honesty as true strength, redefining power.
So, the crucial point is this: what did Nietzsche actually advocate for, instead of this passive aggression disguised as goodness? Well, for Nietzsche, true strength is absolutely not about violently dominating others, and it's definitely not about playing the moral victim. True strength is radical honesty. It's about stopping the charade of fake virtue and being brutally, undeniably honest with yourself about your own human nature.
Radical honesty means fully owning your anger. It means owning your pride, and it means owning your inherent desire for power. By acknowledging these natural, sometimes darker drives, we prevent them from fermenting in the shadows and turning into that toxic, hidden bitterness and resentment we talked about earlier. You don't necessarily have to act destructively on these feelings, but you absolutely must admit that they exist within you to be truly strong.
And this is exactly why Nietzsche's philosophy still disturbs people today. It forces us to take a really hard look in the mirror. Let the weight of that idea land. Take some time to deeply self-reflect on your own motivations today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you next time.
If you really like philosophy, comment down your thoughts below and subscribe to the channel, as your support means a lot.